Okay, in this tutorial, we're going to get a cube to move to wherever we click the mouse. So step one, we're going to add a plane. Let's add that plane and also let's make it static. Step two, we're going to add a cube. Let's bring it up a little, move it forward, and click on this icon here to stretch it because we're going to use this cube as an obstacle. Make it static too. So we got a plane, we got a cube obstacle. Okay, they're both static. Step three, we're going to open up our navigation window. So here it is, navigation. And we're going to bake all the static objects with a nav mesh. That's why I clicked the plane to be static and I clicked this cube obstacle to be static. Step three, we're going to bake a nav mesh. Press bake. It says I have to save the scene first. So go ahead and I'll say scene. Okay. Now what you're seeing here in blue, that's the nav mesh. These are the travelable areas of the scene. So now we're up to step four. We're going to add our player cube. Just add another cube. And go back to the inspector. Reset its position. Move it back a little. Up a little. You're going to add a cube. And then in step four, we're also going to add a script and a Nav Mesh Agent. So this cube is going to be our player. And you're going to add a Nav Mesh Agent from navigation, Nav Mesh Agent. And you can see that this green circle kind of appeared. So here in the Nav Mesh Agent, I could set properties. So first I'm going to set the height to 1 because the cube's height is 1. See, y equals 1 there. So I'm going to set the height to 1. And you'll see that this went down. See, up and down, up and down. Just leave it at 1. And then the radius, I'll just make it a little bit bigger so it could kind of represent the cube. I'll make it 0.75. So this green outline shape, that's actually the Nav Mesh Agent, which I'm attaching to my cube. The Nav Mesh Agent is going to work together with the Nav Mesh. I'm going to add a script to my cube. Not a script that exists, so I'm going to go all the way down to new script, and I'll just call it cube script. Okay, then I'll double click cube script to open it up. Here we go. Okay, so now for the cube script code, I want you to enter in all of this. I'll give you a chance to copy it. Basically up here, since we're using the Nav Mesh, we have to include Unity Engine AI, artificial intelligence. Then we're going to have a private variable in here to hold a pointer to the Nav Mesh Agent component. And in the start function, we're going to set the Nav Mesh Agent component variable equal to the cube's Nav Mesh Agent. That way we could use it in the script. Then in the update function, first here we're going to get the mouse click. So input, get mouse button down 0. 0 is the code for the left mouse button. So if the user pressed that button, then we're gonna get it to move to the point where you clicked. So we have to do that in a couple of steps. First, we have to translate the point that you clicked on the screen to a position in the scene. So your view of the scene is through the camera. So we're going to use the camera, and we're going to take the point that you clicked on the screen and convert it to array. And the position on the screen that we're using is the mouse position where you clicked with the mouse. And then we use the physics engine and the raycast function to figure out where exactly an object is hit on the scene. And then we tell the Nav Mesh Agent, which is wrapped around our cube, we tell it to move to that point. Okay, give you a chance to copy that, save it, and go back to the scene. Before I press play, I want to align the camera to the view. There we go, so the camera is looking the same way it does here. Now if I press play, you can see it all in action. Click, and it goes to where I click. Click, goes to where I click, and you see how the artificial intelligence automatically calculates how to get around that obstacle. I didn't have to add any code. You saw all the code I added. So it's kind of hard to see the cube being white and the ground being white. So what I did was here in my projects, I downloaded a picture of grass from the internet, and I put it in my assets folder in my project. See how it looks. So I'm just going to drag and drop that on the plane. Makes it easier to see the cube versus the ground. Okay, I'm going to press play. I'll click a couple of places here. Click. And there you go.